Alright guys, so can the US government freeze XRP held in cold wallets? Jake Claver answers. Now, so let's try to imagine waking up, opening your cold wallet, and realizing the government has locked your XRP. It's the ultimate nightmare for every crypto investor who move their assets off exchanges to stay safe. But is it actually possible for Uncle Sam to press a big red button and freeze your self-custodied XRP? With crypto regulation tightening this year of 2026, investors are asking tough questions about self-custody. So in this video, we are breaking down a viral discussion shared on X by Web3 expert Jake Claver. We are taking a deep dive into how blockchain surveillance actually works, whether government freeze commands exist on the XRP ledger, and how you can protect your assets from legal overreach. So let's get right into the facts. So let's start with our very first question about, can authorities track what you hold in self-custody? So let's start with how public ledgers actually function. Many people assume that using a cold wallet automatically makes them completely invisible. But there is a huge difference between technical security and absolute anonymity. When you withdraw XRP from a centralized exchange to a cold wallet, that transfer leaves an immutable digital footprint on the public ledger. If an authority links your real-world identity to that exchange account, they can easily trace the destination address. They can monitor every incoming and outgoing transaction in real time. Now, here's my opinion. I think a lot of retail investors confuse privacy with security. Having your wallet address monitored sounds scary, but visibility is not the same as control. The government watching your public ledger activity is like someone standing outside your house looking at your front door. It doesn't mean they have the keys to walk inside and take your property. Now, can the government actually freeze XRP in your cold wallet? This is where the distinction becomes critical. Can the government actually freeze XRP sitting in a ledger device or hardware wallet? The answer is a short no. XRP Ledger does contain built-in features like blacklisting functions that allow certain participants or gateways to reject incoming transactions from flag addresses. However, these mechanisms do not give anyone the technical ability to reach into a private cold wallet and freeze or confiscate the tokens inside. Your XRP remains in your wallet address under the control of your private keys. Now, here's my opinion. I believe this distinction is the single most important lesson for crypto investors this year of 2026. The protocol is built on mathematics, not trust in a central party. Unless an authority legally compels you to hand over your seed phrase or obtains your private keys through a court order, no government agency can simply push a button to drain or freeze a true self-custody wallet. Now, how do different custody models affect asset security? Not all cold storage setups are created equal, and the type of technology you use determines your vulnerability to legal or physical risks. Jake Claver highlighted how institutional multi-signature custody models like Anchorage, utility algorithmically generated keys is split across segregated accounts. Moving funds requires approval from multiple independent signatories, ensuring no single entity holds complete authority over the assets. On the other hand, consumer hardware options range from traditional USB-style wallets to NFC card system like Tangem, each processing distinct operational security profiles. Furthermore, custody providers operating physically within US jurisdiction face vastly different subpoena exposures than offshore entities. Now, here's my opinion. Multi-signature setups are the gold standard for high net worth investors, but a standard hardware wallet is more than enough for the average person. The biggest threat to your self-custody isn't a government supercomputer hacking your device. It's user error, poor seed phrase storage, or falling for phishing scams. Now, what additional safeguards exist for worried investors? For law-abiding investors who pay their taxes and operate within legal frameworks, the risk of government interference and self-custody is virtually non-existent. However, for those seeking advanced asset protection against potential civil litigation, personal liability, or legal disputes, additional structural frameworks exist. Instead of constantly moving tokens between different wallets, sophisticated investors often utilize specialized legal structures. This can involve holding assets under dedicated corporate entities like LLCs, setting up asset protection trusts, or utilizing multi-signature arrangements with foreign signatories in jurisdictions like the Cook Islands. These legal barriers isolate digital assets from personal liabilities without introducing technical risk or complex protocol transfers. Now, here's my opinion. I find the legal approach much smarter than playing a technical cat and mouse game. Moving crypto across complex bridges or obscure privacy protocols often introduces massive technical risk and tax headaches. If you want peace of mind, focus on proper legal structuring and keeping your seed phrases offline rather than panicking over viral rumors. And finally, here's our overall conclusion. The idea that the US government can magically freeze XRP inside your private cold wallet is a myth born out of confusion between public blockchain visibility and technical control. While law enforcement can track public addresses linked to identified individuals, the fundamental cryptography of self-custody ensures that your funds cannot be moved or frozen without access to your private keys. For the vast majority of law-abiding XRP holders, self-custody remains one of the most secure ways to hold digital wealth. Understanding the boundary between blockchain transparency and asset control allows you to navigate the market with confidence rather than fear. So stay disciplined, keep your private keys safe, and stay informed. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one, or you might just as well check this next recommended video right here.